What is up you all? Ivy here and you're watching second episode of Metal Workshop. Today I'll be sharing with you my most stable and optimized mixing templates so far. The sound from EP called Gloom, latest release by my good friend Daniel Brook. If you haven't heard it yet, I strongly recommend to check it out. I'll put the links in the pinned comments, so if you want to show our guys some love, you're more than welcome. Anyways, getting back to our thing. In a nutshell, it's another rework of Alpha Wolf project. What makes a difference from previous workshop model is 4 years of active practical use and countless adjustments in attempts to perfect the sound. Total amount of accumulated changes practically turned it into a completely different thing. Not only does it sound much better, it also got extremely stable. In my latest productions with it, I didn't even need to adjust the mix anymore. Just edit DIs, program MIDI, put everything into Master Project and you're pretty much done. Normally producers keep such things in secret, but for me it's pretty much no use anymore, because as I already mentioned, I completely stopped doing paid productions to fully focus on making new reference templates that you're waiting for. So if you're willing to support me as a creator, you can get this project by becoming subscriber of Modern Projects tier on my Patreon or Boosty. File pack for this episode includes all Cubase templates from this video, full set of unique impulses, and all essential presets together with custom drum map. You will also get link to unlisted video with complete review of all the settings, and of course access to all of my other projects that I've made throughout the years. Aside from that, you will receive whole bunch of swag and a virtual high five from me, because your support allows me to keep doing all this stuff. So if you're willing to go ahead and get all the shit, follow the link down below. Now with all that being said, let's do this shit. Starting from Guitar Project. Let's check that shit. When it comes to channels, we pretty much follow original processing logic, except now we're using Ford and Nameless instead of Revolver. First cab impulse already includes compensation for the amp change, providing same spectral output. In other words, we keep the tone while getting different type of distortion of reamping processor. Post-correction impulses now includes all the EQ adjustments from the main mix, so what you hear in this project is pretty much what you gonna get on the output. Octave tracks use the same DI as the main ones. It's just transpose 1 octave lower. By doing so, we're getting partially coherent low-pitched layer to support the main double. Boosting these tracks in the mixing project may give you much heavier and harmonically rich sound, even if you use relatively high tunings. Anyways, the processing here goes the same, except for extra soothe module that controls excessive low end. We mostly need mid-range harmonics from these tracks, so this move is extremely important. Now bus processing belongs to Master Project, so for now we're only using it for a live preview purpose. It has this EQ correction that makes guitars more focused and allows them to be properly integrated into the mix. Subtle stereo enhancement. Transparent limiting in post to trim excessive peaks and prevent master compressors from overreacting to things like palm mutes and extra low notes. Since we're gonna need our stems in mono, it's super important to temporarily set the panning to center before exporting. The export should be done in mono multi-out mode, from the tracks with export mark in their names. Make sure that you use 32-bit floating point and 44.1 kHz settings. After the export is complete, panning should be reverted to its normal state. It's worth to notice that this project contains modules that provide huge playback latency. So when it comes to recording with real-time monitoring, you should turn off those plugins like shown on the screen. Just don't forget to revert the changes after recording is complete. Now when it comes to bass, we have a totally new thing. Check that shit. This model is based on the tone state that I ended up having after like 3 years of sound experiments with original workshop version. All this time I've been changing things, searching for new ways to improve the sound. At some point, I even started to add in a bit of Twingo bass from Chango Studios. Altogether it gave me completely different tone which did sound much better than original state of first workshop. There was only one problem, the whole thing was just too massive and complicated to operate. That's why I decided to rebuild it from the ground, having old layered tone as a reference. So first of all, we're using a Mansky bass from Submission Audio. This jingle bass sounds very close to what I was getting with the old combination of tones. And to make it even more accurate I'm doing EQ matching on the DI. Right after it goes to Parallax with Martyr's Fingers preset by Henrik Udd, giving us just the right type of distortion. Somewhat close to what I've had before, but much more natural and clean. It is followed by EQ that doesn't make a lot of sense since I'm using custom impulse to match the old spectral image anyways. In between of these tonal moves I'm using lots of low-end compression. First Multiband does baseline stabilization of lows. And after I did the tone match, lows partially gained unwanted level fluctuations caused by spectrum changes, so I used same Multiband again to compensate. Last compressor does similar thing, but works in RMS mode, adding up to a total low-end stabilization in a more transparent way. Limiter that we have afterwards trims some peaks that we don't really need. Later it will help to avoid random stacking of peak energy between bass and kick. Next portion of processing contains tone changes from the actual mix. That'd be extreme boost of mid-range paired with reduction of problematic parts of spectrum. Cleaning up the high end with soothe and EQ. And finally we're using Spiff to get rid of super annoying transient artifacts on mid-range. And so that's pretty much it when it comes to bass. When everything is edited, you should perform the export from dedicated bus. We are gonna export the stem in mono mode, using 44.1 kHz and 32-bit floating point settings. Now it's finally time to go for drums. We're not gonna spend much time talking about the settings, because it's pretty much the same in the core. All the processing chains as well as related impulses were updated to include critical EQ and balance adjustments from the main mix. Might not sound like a lot, but trust me, it makes a solid difference. Another change is the replacement of main convolver from pulse to KFIR. This way we're getting precise convolution that is almost free from aliasing, so no more low-end rumbling and post-impulse EQ compensations. Aside from that, we're also bringing back original Invasion hat. I just wasn't really happy with Modern and Massive 1. And when it comes to handling and export algorithms, it's pretty much all the same. The export should be performed in interleaved multi-out mode, from the tracks with export mark in their names. Make sure that you're using 32-bit floating point and 44.1 kHz. Now all the stems are loaded into Master Project. You already heard how it sounds from the intro, but since I'm only providing you with metal part of this mix, let's have another listen with the synths turned off. I'm only leaving sub-drops and impacts backing track because you can easily recreate same kind of thing yourself. It's just the matter of choosing proper samples, which I can't share for obvious reasons. Now when it comes to processing, for the most part it follows first workshop route. We don't have any processing on drum tracks as it was already included on the sampling stage. Kick and snare are now controlling sidechain compressors for bass and guitars, latter of which working in mid-side mode with only center channel being affected. Main guitar channels have these multi-bin compressors to get control on low-end resonance from palm mutes. And when it comes to master processing, we are significantly enhancing the stereo with Imager and 2 instances of mid-side EQ. Last change is this drop around 600 Hz to make things little heavier and clear. And so guys, that's pretty much it for this video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you very soon in the next one.